Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episodes of the Not Daddy Weekly Roundup. We got 13 books to go over here, a little bit of a quieter week. We'll get through this one pretty fast, so let's jump right into it. First off, let's thank the guys that helped make this show possible. We got the guys from 204 Comics, awesome local comic book store in here in Winnipeg. Go check them out, especially on Sunday. We got the big Chip Zdarsky signing going on there. Man, might as well jump into that right away. We got Chip Zdarsky coming on Sunday, um, Mother's Day, 11 to 2, Winnipeg. Come on down, get some books signed. If you have something else from him that you want to get signed, I'm sure that'll probably be doable as well too. 11 to 2. They're allowing up to 10 books to be signed, and yeah, kind of cool. Come check it out. There's no charge for this, so that's pretty cool too. And he will only be doing signatures. He will not be doing any kind of sketches or remarks. So do come check out 204 Comics on Sunday if you are a fan of Chip Zdarsky. Also, we can't forget about our other sponsors on the show. We have two Primo's Wrestling out of Winnipeg. They're always fun to have. They have a big show coming up on the 21st there. We will be a part of that as well too. And we will actually have, sorry, May 19th, not the 21st. 21st is in Toulon. That's a busy weekend. We got 3 shows that weekend in 3 days. So we'll definitely be having that. I'll be having a whole separate show going into what's coming up for Primo's Wrestling later on. But let's jump into the reason you guys came on to tune into the show tonight, and that is to see comic book stuff. So how about we start off with what I think are the covers of the week. Funnily enough, all 3 covers I thought were awesome this week. All come from the same book. It's from the book called Something Epic from Image, and we will cover that a little bit later on in there. The first 2 there are obviously, actually all 3 are homages when you look at it, really. You got one that's the T2 homage, middle one there, the M&M show homage, and then the third one there is old Nintendo Mario game homage. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, we'll cover a little bit more of that book a little bit later on, but let's jump into our first book. First book of the week is Amazing Spider-Man 25. They've been pumping this book for a little while now, and we figured we'd cover it because they have been making such a big deal about it. It happens to explain what's been going on with Mary Jane. So when this new volume started up, 6 months had passed since the last volume, and a lot has happened with Mary Jane. She has a family now. She's been married to some other guy, or with some other guy at least, and she has 2 kids that are, obviously older than 6 months. They're like 10 and 8, something like that, I believe. And they never told us why. So this issue does tell us why. And also, there's been a lot of rumors or suggestions or media hype about that someone's going to die. Doesn't happen in this issue, but it's going to happen obviously in the next issue. They've already kind of solicited that. So who is it going to die? They say it's a major important person in Spidey's life. So they're all kind of thinking maybe it's going to be Mary Jane, but you don't know. We'll see what happens. But a good story. Again, it does tell us what happened to Mary Jane and what happened to Peter Parker, Spider-Man, in those 6 months in between the volumes there. And I know why he's kind of at odds with all those people that were normally were his friends and family before. So that gets cleared up a little bit, and also explains some of how Mary Jane had some of those powers in one of those recent dark web crossovers with Black Cat. So I don't know. Okay, I guess so far. Next book of the week is Keeper of the Cosmos from Scout Comics. This is a fun book here. It kind of has that feel of Guardians of the Galaxy type of feel to it. The big cover, or the big, I guess it's a teddy bear on the top of the cover there. He's a former member that gets kind of captured by this police force, and he sends a message out to the rest of the team there to kind of come rescue him or break him out of jail and that. And it's been a year since he's left the team, and I guess since he's left the team, things have kind of turned sour relationship-wise. Seems like he might have stole from them as well too. So interesting and fun. See where it goes from there. Kind of has a little bit of that Rick and Morty humor to it, but definitely has that Guardians of the Galaxy team feel to it. Another book that I have here but doesn't seem to have showed up here is The Great Bake Off from Image as well too. The Great Bake Bump Off. It's kind of a baking competition in that where one of the contestants has been killed, and there's this one younger teen, maybe early 20s contestant there that's trying to solve it all while she's taking part in that contest. So that's kind of fun too. Apologize, the cover's not up for that. Also from Scout Comics this week, we have Count Dante, the unauthorized but sort of kind of true story of the deadliest man who ever lived. This is a fun book. Definitely makes me think of that Brad Pitt movie with Leonardo DiCaprio a couple of years ago, the Hollywood movie. It takes place in the 70s, and that where this guy is telling the story of this ultimate martial arts master that he met in Vietnam originally, and then the two of them end up opening up a school and fights crime in that in New York. Maybe it's not New York, maybe it's Philadelphia, once they get out of the Vietnam War. So pretty cool, lots of fun here, and definitely if you're a fan of the 70s martial arts craze and just the 70s in general, this is definitely down for you. Something epic. We saw this a little bit earlier. This is the one that had all the covers of the week. Really fun book. A little bit of exposition in there, a little bit more than most. Some great artwork here. Grudansky there is the art and storyteller here. Recently, he did the art for that Town of Terror. So that was a great book here. This is a book about a young man, young boy. He's probably about 12 or 13 or so. And he has... It's something that we all have originally, but we kind of grow out of it. We can kind of see things that aren't there. It's not ghosts per se or anything but he sees imagination. So everything that we've ever thought of or has thought behind it, even though we can't see it, it does take place. It is real. It's just that we can't see it. It's on a different wavelength. So it kind of has a little science like energy isn't created, it's always just transformed in that. So all these thoughts and properties and IPs and stuff that are out there, he can actually see they're living and walking around in that. They're just kind of ghosts, and most people can't see them, but he can. Neat story there. Definitely has a little bit of a melancholy feel to it. It's definitely kind of like a curse more than a gift in that. So definitely neat to see where this keeps going in that. Another book that kind of follows suit in that kind of type of line is this kind of the supernatural feel to it. It's called Ghost Lore by Cullen Bunn. So great writer there. It's about this preacher and his family, and that's his teen daughter with him on the cover there. And they've had I don't know if it's like some bad luck with this one small town that they're in. The parish just keeps the numbers kind of keep dwindling as the town keeps kind of dying out in that. So the parish, or the I guess he's not a priest per se, but the father there and the wife has the daughter and a teen son, and like I said, the daughter's just ready to get out of town there, move on with her new life, and she's very snarky all the time and that, just waiting to get out of there for graduation. And they have another teen son that something has happened to him in the last little while that's kind of affected him, and he's kind of withdrawn and not talking to anybody in that. So after a sermon, the preacher is driving home one day with the family in the car, and the daughter's actually driving, practicing for a driver's test, and she ends up seeing a ghostly spirit of this little boy in the road, and she ends up swerving to avoid hitting him, and the family runs into the forest and hits a tree in that. And then they see all these ghostly spirits around them, and it turns out that because of this accident per se, or because of something going on in that, these people can now see see ghosts, kind of like the sixth sense in that. And these ghosts are always kind of tell them like, I have to tell you my story. So if I don't tell you my story, I'm kind of stuck on this plane. So in this accident, only the father and daughter survive. Unfortunately, the mother and the son pass away, and the son is actually the one who has had something traumatized happen. Actually, it's his ghost that kind of explains everything, what's going on. So I tried not to do too much spoilers there, but in some explanation, I kind of gave away a little bit there. But this is a pretty cool book so far. I am enjoying it, and I can't get it out of my head no matter what that the preacher father there, he looks identical to Chris Pine. So I don't know if it's drawn that way on purpose or not, but it sure looks like it. From DC this week, another one of their Dawn of DC titles. We have a new Green Lantern story starting up here. So Green Lantern #1. This is Hal Jordan. Since everything that's happened in the last little while, DC wise, Earth has now been kind of sanctioned and the Guardians have disappeared. So the rest of the universe has kind of sanctioned Earth or 2814 and to have no Green Lantern in it. So Hal's back on Earth there. He lost his ring with everything that was going on with that Dark Crisis, and now he's just kind of back on Earth trying to live a normal life. But he doesn't know how to do that. So he ends up trying to get a job back at Ferris was a pilot and that, but learns that things have changed and he's not exactly maybe not wanted there anymore. Also turns out he ends up coming across some kind of Green Lantern technology while on Earth and ends up kind of taking it over or hot wiring it per se to become a Green Lantern again. And I guess he's gonna protect Earth on his own. So we'll see what happens there. Good start, but kind of like what you expect from the #1 of a Green Lantern series, especially with Hal Jordan. And then there's also a second story in there, a backup story with Jon Stewart as well. So that was interesting as well. For the first time ever since like the mid 80s, I was watching AEW Dynamite last night live, and they had an actual commercial for cartoons. The DC again being part of Warner Brothers, which is again part of AEW, all owned by the same people. They had a commercial for the Dawn of DC comic line starting there, so that was pretty cool. It's nice to see that one of these big mega companies are not just using the comics for IP and that, and they're trying to sell more comics as well too. So nice to see them put a little money into some promo for the comics. From Dark Horse, we have Murder Inc. Jagger Rose. This is by Michael Bendis, so nice to see him starting up a new book here. This is kind of a neat story. It kind of is a story in the sense that the mafia never really lost their foothold of control after the late 20s and 30s in America. So it's kind of current day, and the mafia is still pretty powerful in that, if not one of the I'd say half the power in the country. And this story is about Jaeger there, who is a female member of this mafia, and she's quite a talented assassin in that. And she is asked to go meet with the Pope. And the Pope is the real Pope, and it's also the Pope that's associated, again, like I said, with this kind of government / mafia and that. So I'm going to see what happens there. Neat little story so far. If you like mafia stuff like Sopranos or anything gangster like this, will definitely be up your alley. From Dynamite, we have Kong, the Great War. So this is a new series about Kong Island or Skull Island or Monster Island, whatever you want to call it. And we have some, I believe it's 1912, and there is I don't know if it's Germans or not, but there's these, seems like a submarine is a wartime submarine gets either blown up or injured or somehow crash lands and has to crash on Monster Island there. Everyone just kind of wakes up there. The captain wakes up and kind of has a little bit of flashbacks of what's going on. But the whole time too, they're constantly being under attack by this Monster Island itself too. So monsters and lizards and the elements themselves there, and they have to kind of deal with the rising tide as well too. So the captain manages to kind of gather all his remaining crew there and kind of hot off to shelter, which is itself as a challenge because they have to climb a sheer cliff face to get to it. And once they get to that cliff face with a cave in it, even then they're not safe. So again, stuck on Kong Island. So just to start off, again, to kind of intro it, obviously this is going to go for a few issues, and not a whole lot of action happens in this one here. Definitely not where you see a lot of Kong or monsters in that. They do see a lot of stuff with like action with the shipwreck and these I don't want to call them pirates because they're not, but these sailors who are forced to find shelter and survive in this crazy environment. So definitely gonna check that out. Something on a little bit weirder side is from American Mythology Productions, and I've been liking a lot of their stuff. Is cartoon puppet horror theater, and it's pretty silly. It's this I don't know what they want to call it. It's almost like this dimension where monsters and like the monsters you would see in movies and stuff like that all kind of live as puppets. So it's like everything is like a like puppet dimension. That so you got a few funny stories in there, and that definitely not meant for kids, and that more adult oriented, but a lot of fun. It's almost like and it's drawn that way too. It's almost like Jim Henson or Sesame Street. Characters were forced to be in slasher movies. From Marvel, we have a new volume of Silk here. Wasn't normally going to cover this because there's a new volume of Silk like once a year. But this one I heard was getting some positive preview about it, so I did look into it. Really great artwork in here. Kind of a neat story so far. It starts off, as you can see on the cover there, you kind of got multiple versions of Silk here itself. Here we see one version where it's like a early Hollywood type, and she's a PI, and she's being forced to do this PI case and that, and she has all her Silk powers in that, and at the same time too, she kind of has this deja vu, feeling that she's done this all before, and kind of flashes back to normal Silk in that. So at the end of the book here, we find out that somebody is kind of messing with her mind a little bit. She seems to be sedated in like a or I guess today is the best word in this scientific hospital environment, and someone kind of like tampering with her memories and that. So we'll see what's going on there. But it looks neat. I kind of liked it. See where it goes from there. From DC, again, part of their new Dawn of DC line, we have a new character here. Their name is Xanthi. Came out of the Dark Crisis stuff that was happening just recently. Or sorry, not Dark Crisis, the Lazarus Planet stuff with all the Lazarus magic and that affecting that. So there is Xanthi here, and it's a person who can go between the spirit world and the living world. She has some kind of magical powers and that go with it. And at the end of the Lazarus stuff, she was kind of teaming up or had met Constantine and Batgirl, and were working together. Where Batgirl had kind of got sucked back into this other spirit world and that, and now Xanthi and Constantine were trying to get back there to rescue her and that. So great if you like supernatural stuff, and also a lot of that kind of Asian, Chinese, manga kind of feel to it as well too. And again, that supernatural stuff like with Constantine and that. So this book does cover a lot of bases, and I think it's going to be pretty neat. And it's one of those ones I think coming out of the Dawn DC that might stick around. All right, last book this week. Like I said, it is a bit of a shorter week. We have Extreme Venomverse. This is it's the 35th anniversary of Venom. It's hard to believe that 35 years ago this summer that Venom was created. So now they have this an anniversary of it, or due to that, they have this Extreme Venomverse title that's going to happen. Kind of like the Spider-Man multiverse, this is all different versions of Venom from different verses. There's one in here where Venom becomes a Spider-Man. There's one where he's a samurai. That's a pretty neat one as well in there too. And then apparently it's all going to kind of lead into the summer of symbiotes type of thing. So there'll be a big Venom symbiote event happening this summer again, and due part to the anniversary of 35 years of Venom already. So that's crazy. So yeah, I did like this book a little bit. Wasn't too bad. Again, I say it in almost every episode that I'm not a huge fan of things that are just like multiple versions of whether it's the multiverse with Batman's, or the Spider-Verse, or this Venomverse and that, and some other things that we've covered as well. But this one wasn't too bad. So we'll see where it goes from there. All right, everybody. So like I said, a little bit of a shorter episode this week. Handful of books to go through. If there's anything here that you like, let me know. anything here that you thought I should cover and I missed, also let me know about that. Let me know what you're gonna do this weekend. If you're gonna definitely check out the Chip Zdarsky signing and that. I got my 10 books, and I keep shuffling around. I have about 13 or 14 books I want to take, but I actually can't take them all, so I'm trying to figure out which ones to take. But other than that, hope to see you there for that day. Otherwise, see you on Saturday night. We got the tags show coming up. That was fun last week in hosting that. We had the Muppets mashup. So I believe the auction finishes up this evening for that. So if anybody wants, got a few hours left to get bids on those. And then on Monday we got our episode of Things Are Getting Dicey. So I will try not to die once again, as me and a few of the gang kind of trying to complete our D&D adventure. Other than that, hope to see you maybe on the 21st. Well, sorry, well, 21st if you're in Toulon, 20th if in Killarney, and the 19th in Winnipeg, all for the Primos events. And like I said, watch later this week. We will have a whole episode just on what's coming up for Primos this week and what to expect. Maybe an interview or two even. Other than that, we will see you guys later on in the week. Take care.